Choose your comic.
Hey everybody, and welcome to our very special free comic book day 2025 special. We try to do these every year, and these are so much fun. We go over all of the books that are releasing for free comic book day, which is coming up on Saturday, May 3rd, and tell you a little bit more about them so you are better prepared when you go into your local comic book store, or if you come in here at Infinity Flux or shop with us at infinityflux.net. You can have a better idea of what the books kind of contain, what are reprints, what are new stories, and you come away all the more happy about it.
Now, there are about 44, 45 books, and we're going to go over all of them. There are timestamps for every single book in the description, so if you want to know about some more than others, I highly recommend to use those timestamps liberally and just jump around to whichever ones you want to hear about, because not all of these are for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we will have timestamps on every single book, so you can jump straight to the ones you want to hear about.
Yeah, we'll talk some more in depth about some of them. Some of them, just a passing thing, just depending on. But let's get into it. I feel like there should be some kind of fanfare or something. Not for mine, but for just Free Comic Book Day in general. Yay, Free Comic Book Day. I'm going to start off with one that the fanfare was not for this.
For me, it was okay, for sure. Yeah,
it can go for both. But this is the Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures 2025 Free Comic Book Day special. The title's really long. So this one is special because I am the artist on this one, along with writer Dave Scheid. I did the Free Comic Book Day Young Jedi Adventures book last year, so this is 2 years in a row. But I think this one is even better. I am super excited for people to get this one. It's a really fun story where the Young Jedi Adventure kids go to the swamps of Tanu, which is like their home planet where the Jedi Academy is. They go to the swamps to meet with Yoda, but when they get there, they learn that Yoda has actually left a scavenger hunt for them that's going to kind of test them. And fun ensues from there. There's a bunch of creatures. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of cute creatures. I got to make up so many Star Wars creatures in this. I am going to own Wikipedia by the end of it. You'll have to just be on the lookout. One of them, I drew a flying hamster with a frog tongue that like grabs a little bug out of the air. A giant like sea monster that's kind of like Gyarados from Pokemon. Squirrels that have horns. I just went all out on this one. I had a blast working on this, and I can't wait now for everyone to finally get their hands on it. This also does have a backup story of Avatar: The Last Airbender by Brandon Hoeg and art by Belbessa. But the main story is me, Dave Scheid, colors by Dan Jackson, and letters by my good friend Tyler Smith. And I did the pencils and inks on the interiors and pencils, inks, and colors on the cover. So that's all me on the cover there. And I'm just really excited for people to get it.
If you are local to Chattanooga, Andy will be doing signings on Free Comic Book Day and remarks as well. If you are not local, I believe we will have some of those available on the website as well. They're not there yet, but you'll see them closer to time.
I think if they're not up there right now, they'll be up in the next day or something.
Yeah.
I've already started preparing those remarks. So, really excited for this year, and you can get that special remark from me at infinityflux.net or at the store.
Now, I really hope that they get you for next year too, because it would be weird to not have like 3 in a row, like the hat trick. You got to have at least 3.
Yeah, what is it like in bowling? It's like a turkey.
A turkey, yeah, you got to have the turkey, yeah, for sure.
So, there is that one, and I'm very excited about it.
Well, I'm going to start off with the Fantastic Four Giant Size X-Men, a free comic book day book.
And you worked on this one, right?
I totally did. I worked on reading it over, and this one's great. So this features a Fantastic Four story called Strange New World, and this is from your upcoming Fantastic Four creative team of Ryan North, who's been writing it for the last couple of years, been fantastic. But your new artist, Humberto Ramos, that's a creative team on the new Fantastic Four series. It starts with a new number 1. in a couple months, I think. The story in this is original. I do not think it's going to be in Fantastic Four #1 coming up. So if you want this story, you got to get this book. But the Fantastic Four are testing their teleporter, and they are accidentally pulled to this alien world by these three cute little alien
They're really
children.
adorable.
They really are, but they're having like a sleepover, right? When you have sleepovers, you do spooky things, you play Bloody Mary and that kind of stuff. And they make this like symbol on the floor that somehow pulls the Fantastic Four to them. But what else do they pull towards them? I'm not going to tell you, but the Fantastic Four do have to get involved in that. It's a really fun story. There's a great ending. The artwork is phenomenal. It made me really excited for the new series. It's going to be starting in a couple months. There's also a giant size X-Men story called The General, and this is kind of a prelude to the upcoming giant size X-Men #1 that we're going to get. That's a one shot that features Kamala Khan going to the past to fix mutant history, I guess. I don't really know.
Something is going wrong with. She doesn't know why she gets thrown back there.
Yeah.
And then when she's there, notices that stuff doesn't seem right, and some stuff is getting a little wonky. And her, along with I think the X-Men, are going to try to correct the timeline.
Yeah. So this actually takes place during the original giant size X-Men #1, where Cyclops is training the new team, including Storm and Wolverine and Nightcrawler and all those guys. But Kamala Khan is there too. The artwork is phenomenal. It's a Bon Coelho. It looks so good. Like, I wish this is what current X-Men comics look like, because everybody's in their classic suits. The artwork is phenomenal. There's some really good action as they're training.
It's cool also to see the characters who don't know each other as well.
Yeah.
So, they're all a little hesitant about, one another, and like Wolverine's there. But before this, Wolverine was like a Hulk villain.
Right,
so
yeah.
You're dealing with all that.
So that's a really cool story. And there's one last story called Deadpool and Wolverine Popularity Contest. It's written and drawn by Chip Zdarsky. It's a very humorous story about about a real world couple who wind up in a Deadpool and Wolverine comic in the roles of Deadpool and Wolverine. It sounds crazy. It's very meta. You have to read it to see what it's all about, but it's really fun. Chip Zdarsky, you can imagine how silly it is. So, very fun comic, and just made me excited for all of these stories coming up soon.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think the Fantastic Four #1, when it comes out, will be a good jumping on point.
Yes.
But go back and read it before, because you've got like Carlos Gomez on it. Like he said, it's the same writer who's been doing it all. One of the best books Marvel's putting out is Fantastic Four. Well, next up, I've got DC's big book for this year. This is the DC All-In Absolute Universe 2025 Free Comic Book Day Special Edition. So this is actually a flip book. So on one side we have Superman Unlimited. On the other side we have the Absolute Universe. So starting off with the Superman Unlimited, this is by Dan Slott and Rafael Albuquerque. This is your team on the upcoming Superman Unlimited book that was just up for FOC this week. So that will be coming out very, very soon. And this does give you a little taste of that book, because the pages in this are the first few pages of the #1 when it comes out.
Yeah. So if you're not able to get this, if you do get Superman Unlimited #1, you'll still have what's in here. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. This kind of leads up right to where it does like the intro page in that book. But it's still cool. It's still great to get an early look at that as we learn about the Daily Planet that's expanding into like a multimedia conglomerate. But of course, Superman or Clark Kent can't stay around because Superman's needed. We get some great, just classic Superman stuff in this as he goes around and helps different people. I even love, there's a part where there's a girl like playing guitar, and like he comes and like listens to her play, and he's like, I listen to you all the time. Just great, great stuff. We also have, I don't want to get too much into it because that will be in Superman Unlimited #1. But also we have the Absolute Universe story. This is by Jeff Lemire and Giuseppe Camuncoli. And this actually follows Mirror Master, who was, we briefly saw at the end of issue 1 of Absolute Flash as he like came out of a mirror. And we follow him for a little bit as he's observing through reflections and everything. Absolute Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. And he's kind of learning about them and what to expect from them. I will say there's a really cool part where you get a 2-page spread that maybe gives you some clues to the future of the absolute universe
Yeah.
for deciphering and wondering about, which I always love in these.
Yeah, because this is not directly setting up, but this is kind of getting us warmed up for some big story involving the Absolute Universe that I think they're going to tell later on this year, like maybe in
Yeah.
the fall. It's not a direct like continued in what it's
Yeah.
nothing like that, but it's just to kind of plant the seeds, get you ready that to tell you that something's coming in the next few
Yeah,
months.
so it's really fun to kind of go around and decode it and try to
Yeah.
figure out what they're referring to. And also, there's a kind of surprise ending that will also make you maybe give you a little idea about what is coming up for the
Hmm.
Absolute Universe. So this was really fun. I think this is also one of the staple ones you should get, especially if you're enjoying the stuff at DC and the
Yeah.
Absolute Universe. This will get you jazzed about the
Yeah.
future of those as well. So, yep, you got the flip book, one side Absolute, the other side Superman.
Well, next up, I'm going to talk about the Energon Universe free comic book day book, and up until recently, this was a spoiler cover because GI Joe #6 had not yet come out, but now that that is out, the cat is out of the bag. This is actually a wraparound cover, and you can see what the secret was. We've got Hound, who is palling around with Clutch. Again, that was at the end of GI Joe #6, and in this one, this picks up right where that issue left off, where Hound is questioning Clutch about how he has Energon. Where did you get that Energon weapon? That kind of thing. And they actually do scrap with each other for a bit. Clutch is able to hold his own thanks to some weapons he has. And Hound gets a little bit damaged. And Clutch takes him to a very special surprise character for help. And I will not tell you who that is, but you will not guess it. I guarantee it. So I was really excited for it, though. So this is really cool. Just kind of sets up some things for GI Joe. There is a standalone Transformer story in this, kind of a one and done that showcases Jazz's love of music. That doesn't really do much for the main series. It's just it's like its little standalone story.
But
Doesn't really
it
affect
is
much.
the art is by Daniel Warren Johnson
That's
and
right.
written by Daniel Warren Johnson in it.
Well, no, it's Mike Spicer did the art.
He did the colors in it.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
okay.
the colors. So you do get back to some of that
Yeah,
classic, the first volume of Transformers,
yeah. It's so
which
it,
is just nice to
Yeah,
see.
for sure. And then there's a Void Rival story that is the first appearance in the Energon universe of another beloved Transformers character, and it sets up the next big story arc that's coming soon for Void Rivals and what's
Mhm.
going to happen there. So that is why there is going to be an Energon. There was an Energon universe special up for pre-order. So if you are not able to get this book, you can buy it a little bit later. It's like $3.99 because they really want you to have these stories because they're it's at least for the GI Joe and the Void Rival stories, they're integral to what is
Yeah,
coming for those
they
books.
are the next
Yeah,
chapters. Even though they're a little shorter, like you said, the GI
like
Joe one
bridges.
happens like immediately
Yeah.
after the previous
Yeah,
one.
but if you are able to get this book, then you do not need to get that Energon Universe special that was on FOC a couple weeks ago, unless you just want like a different cover or
Yeah,
something. But it's all the same stuff, and it's awesome. I love this. I love Clutch and Hound together. I think they're gonna have some really cool
they
adventures.
need their own little
They do,
buddy
right?
series
Yeah,
because they work together
right.
really well. Next up, I have the other big Marvel book for this free comic book day. This is Amazing Spider-Man and the Ultimate Universe, a free comic book day special. It starts off, we've got the Amazing Spider-Man, which is written by current Amazing Spider-Man writer Joe Kelly, and one of the two artists from the Amazing Spider-Man currently, John Romita Jr. So part of this kind of picks up after the backup story at the end of Amazing Spider-Man #1 with Norman Osborn and the attack that happened on Norman Osborn. As we see another villain attempt to get in the middle of the fray, and Spider-Man has to stop them. I wouldn't say this is like, oh, you have to read this to understand what's going on. Uh, this character that shows up could show up again
Yeah,
in this. It's hard to tell, but it is still a really fun little couple page story.
yeah, and it's a complete story too. It doesn't at the end. It does not say like to be continued in. It
Yeah.
just says the end. So I don't know if it's. I don't really know like what effect it'll have, if any, on the new Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's just kind of a support of
Yeah,
Amazing Spider-Man. And of course, then we have the Ultimate Universe story. This is by Cody Ziegler and Denise Camp with art by Jonas Scharf. And this one's really fun, and I feel like this is a big lead up to the Ultimate Incursion. Is that what
Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion.
Ultimate
Yeah.
Spider-Man Incursion? Yeah, it feels like it's got all the characters in it, so it should be bigger. So in this, we see again the moment that the Maker visited Miles Morales, and basically gave him like a business card
Yeah.
that somehow is a ticket or a doorway to the new Ultimate Universe. Because he's kind of like, hey, you and me, we're from
Mm-hmm.
this universe that got destroyed. We're
Yeah.
the last survivors, and us bros got to stick together. But something happens, and someone very close to Miles gets a hold of the card, the portal, and I think this is what's going to instigate the big event and finally going to push him to go to that new Ultimate Universe. I have to think these, I don't know if these exact pages will be in that,
I'm
but
not sure if they will. I mean, it does kind of feel like it could have been the first few pages of the, but I'm not sure.
because it feels really important to it may recap this really fast
Yeah.
in that, but it does feel like pretty important to setting up that crossover that we're going to be getting. um, there's also a kind of a surprise third story in here that involves Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage, that I didn't expect, and
Yeah.
is cool. It's just like 3-4 pages, but might be setting up something else coming very soon.
Yeah, I think it's teasing a crossover that they're gonna have,
Yeah.
but I don't know when or where the title. I don't know anything about it yet.
Yeah, so that is all for Amazing Spider-Man Ultimate Universe, but very fun, and another one I think you should be picking up.
Yep. Well, I'm going to talk about IDW Dark Find Your New Fear. This has 4 different stories in it that are all teases of books to come. And the first one is got me so excited. It is our first look at the next volume of Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. It's called A Rite of Spring. And it's kind of the sequel to the first series that came out last year. One of my favorite books from last year. Still written and drawn by Patrick Horvath. And the I think the new series starts in July, and it's about this woman who is a duck because these are all like cutesy animal creatures, and she has been looking for her missing brother for 8 years. But her brother is the first victim that we saw in the original Beneath the Trees book, and now that may spell disaster for Sam if somebody is starting to poke their nose around it or their beak around their
No, no,
bill
no,
around
no.
and try to figure out where they are. So your first look at the next Beneath the Trees book is in here. We also have a preview of a new story called 30 Days of Night Falling Sun. That is coming out soon, so to give you a little bit of a preview of that. There is a story called Tuatha, which is part of IDW's Nightcaps line, which is a new line of oversized one-shots. And it's about a young female warrior. She takes on these group of kind of thugs while carrying her fallen king's head, which is kind of weird. And actually sort of gave me Princess Mononoke vibes just a
Mm.
little bit with the way that it looks. It kind of looks like it takes place like in feudal Japan or something like that. And the last story is called Blood Honey, and it's also part of that Nightcaps line. And it takes place at this gothic prep school. It's about a couple who plots a murder to avoid a breakup. And that looks really fun too. So you get 4 previews to brand new stories coming for IDW. And again, Beneath the Trees, one of my favorites. That's your very first one. I'm so excited for it.
Next up, I've got a very exciting one. This is Post Malone's Big Rig. So yes, this is Post Malone, the musician, uh, is getting into comics, and this is an awesome one. So this is created by Post Malone and written by Post Malone, Adrian Wassel, with art by Nathan Gooden. And we didn't mention this earlier. You can look at the Free Comic Book Day logo and see this one's red. It means it's a mature title. Blue means kind of teen, kind of your middle grade, and then green is all ages. So keep an eye on that when you're picking, and if you're picking for somebody else. But this one, it's all kind of black and white with spots of red and some different color text and stuff in it. But it kind of begins with this thing. It says it's the Dark Ages. Demon hordes plague Europe as hell invades Earth. And in a small hamlet, the citizens seek shelter as these they're kind of demons, but like, they talk and they kind of, it looks like they can almost maybe turn people into them like
Hmm.
zombies. But they're kind of snarky and mean and cruel and all that. But there's one guy who is a blacksmith, and as this woman and her kids are looking for safety in churches or wherever, there's something up with this guy. He has some very Post Malone like tattoos on his face, and seems like he's maybe a little bit more in control. He's a little bit more chill. When all of a sudden, seemingly from the heavens, there is bestowed a big rig
Mm.
in the middle of there, and they're all like, "Where did that come from?" And he kind of is drawn to it, and upon placing the trucker cap upon his head, becomes this. He even has a moment where he's like, "I am the trucker,"
Nice.
and he is going to save this woman and fight these demons as a big rig truck driver. I think it's awesome. It's really fun. The art is really good. And I can't wait to see what happens with this. I'm not sure if this is going to be like a standalone graphic novel, or what, because it does have a part in it. It's like you can buy Big Post Malone's Big Rig now, so I don't know if it's like
Huh.
a going to be a all together or if it's going to be a series. We'll
Yeah.
have to find out. But yeah, this was a lot of fun, and I do recommend this one. It's more mature because of kind of the scariness, and some demons are eating eyeballs
Oh
and
wow.
stuff.
Okay. Well, next I've got Godzilla New Heroes, and this is really cool because this is the start of a new Godzilla shared universe. We've got previews of 3 different stories that all take place in the same universe, and it's got a preview of the new Just Godzilla book written by Tim Seeley and the artist by Nicholas Ismezia. And this is about a super team called G-Force, but it's not like Battle of the Planets
Yeah.
G-Force. Um, but they are put together to kill Godzilla. There's 5 of them there, and they actually might have the power to do it. There's one guy who actually survived a direct blast from Godzilla's atomic breath, and that's why he's on the team. How was he able to do it? I don't know, but so that's going to be cool. That's going to be like your main book. There's another book called Godzilla Escape the Dead Zone, and it's just part of the same universe. And part of the Pacific Northwest has been sectioned off from the rest of the country, and it's full of just nothing but kaiju and mutated creatures. And it follows this one character whose name I don't think we know, but it kind of reminded me of Hellboy a little bit. He's got a big like trench coat, he's got a tail, and kind of looks like hooves, and he's
Huh.
like wandering this wasteland, but I don't know what he's doing yet because it's just a little preview. And then the last story is called Starship Godzilla, and this is about an intergalactic band of mercenaries who travel the galaxy in Mechagodzilla.
That's such a cool idea.
Yeah, so it's like I say mercenaries. I think they're more like rogues and thieves and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It kind of gives me Guardians of the Galaxy vibes a little bit. The artwork in all 3 of these is really, really good. Like, I think this is a really exciting book to get if you're a Godzilla fan because it's a whole new universe, all new books, and they all take place together. I think this one is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I haven't read that yet, but I'm
Yeah,
excited to
it's
read
good.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, this one is really, really cool because this is also a flip book. This is Power Rangers VR Troopers, or Power Rangers Prime VR Troopers. So we have on one side, by Melissa Flores and Trish Forster, the Power Rangers Prime story, which follows a very cute dog named Doobie, who gets abandoned until he is found by a teenage boy who rescues Doobie and gives him a good home. But this boy has a Megazord, a little Megazord, um, in his apartment. And if you've been reading the series, maybe you know about this, but I didn't know about it. And I thought it was a really interesting idea that he kind of says it's a thing that they were either like experimenting on or whatever, but they needed to bring it back to keep it safe. And the little doobie one day is home alone when some like home invaders break in, and he musters up the courage and maybe somehow kind of mind melds with this Megazord and freaks out the people. And yeah, we'll have to see what happens from there. But it was really, really cute. With Trish Forster on it, look just like
Yeah.
stray dogs.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
dog is like a corgi and looks just like that, which is really cool. Now, on the other side is one I'm very excited about because I grew up watching VR Troopers.
We are VR. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like I said, I haven't been reading the current Power Rangers Prime. I really want to, but uh, apparently recently the VR Troopers crossed over with it because it does show a couple of pages that were in Power Rangers Prime. But this one is by Marguerite Scott and Sebastian Perez, and it's kind of a VR Troopers issue 0 because it's just a fun action story as the VR troopers stop some bad guys from smuggling what the troopers think are weapons. You have to read it to find out what it is, and just gives you an idea of what the series is going to look like and feel like. And I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
Plus, you've got some great um, like variant covers on the inside by different artists. You've got Dan Mora's designs for
Yeah.
Power Rangers Prime and VR
Those look so
Troopers.
good.
A lot of cool, like, I want to say back of book stuff, middle of book stuff, end
Yeah.
of story stuff that is just really, really fun. And yeah, this got me really jazzed. I'm probably going to be picking up the new VR Trooper series because of reading this.
Yeah.
And since I missed the series when it started, I'm definitely going to grab the volume 1 of Power Rangers Prime after reading this.
Yeah.
So another highly recommended one.
Next, I've got Def Leppard's Hysteria. This is from Vault. And this actually starts in 1962 with a band. They're on this airplane. And one of the members of that band apparently has like this cursed guitar. And he literally cannot stop playing it to the point where his fingers wear down to the bone and they're all bleeding and stuff. And then that guitar causes him to do other bad things to his bandmates and himself.
Oh.
And then cut to present day, and then the daughter of that guy who had that guitar, she is in a band herself, and she's on her way to get her dad's old equipment because she something happened to hers, and she can't afford new equipment, so she's having to drive to the storage shed to get her dad's old equipment, which presumably includes that cursed guitar. We don't get it doesn't get that far because this is only just a preview. But reading the solicitations for this story when it comes out fully, it does sound like that guitar helps her get what she wants in life, almost like a monkey's paw. She gets what she wants, but it also comes with a great cost. So, a very spooky book. This is another one of the red label books, so mature readers, but very cool. I love spooky books like this.
Next up is another one I'm very excited about. This I was already excited about it, and reading this got me even more jazzed for it. This is Speed Racer number 0. So this is broken into 2 different stories. We've got the first one by David Pepos and the artist by David Tinto. David Pepos is your writer on Space Ghost, which is phenomenal. And this is kind of a Speed Racer issue 0. So in this, it's kind of a not a recap, but like here's a good look at all the different elements of Speed Racer as we see a race going on in Palm City as its name's Spritle. I always want to say like every time my autocorrect's like Sprite, Spritle and Chim Chim
or Squirtle.
Yeah, Squirtle and Chim Chim. Since this is kind of modernized, they actually stream, like they've got like a drone that follows Speed Racer.
Yeah, okay.
And they stream it, and they're kind of, I think they call it ViewTube. And it's really cool. And you don't see a lot of Speed Racer, the person in here. He's always like in shadow, so it makes it really cool. And he's in this race against some other really fast cars, some characters. But in this, and I don't remember this, I don't think it was in the original show. In this, it seems like the races are illegal, and that there's like cops who constantly try to stop him, but Speed Racer is so fast he can outrun them and all that. And he basically says like, "Don't do this at home, but add it to my highlights reel" type thing, which is really fun. But it's just a good like, here's a little primer of what the series is going to look like and feel like. A lot of speed, a lot of fast car stuff. Of course, you do see the buzz saws come out of the wheels or out of the front. Really, really cool. Then there's a second story in here by Mark Russell and art by Chris Batista, and it is a Racer X story. And it makes me wonder, like, are we going to be getting a Racer X book, or is that going to be a backup in Speed Racer? But this has less like car driving and more of Racer X is like a vigilante fighting against a group of like a gang of thugs and all the different stuff he has, and his car is like remote controlled type thing. It's really cool. The art in both is incredible, and this is just another title from Mad Cave that I'm very excited about. So don't sleep on this one. It is really, really cool.
Well, we've also got I Hate Fairyland Once Upon a Time. And what this is mostly, it's a recap of the previous 10 years of I Hate Fairyland. And it uses art from the previous books, but it's written like Gertrude's diary, where instead of like full pages, it's like little squares of original of artwork from the older books, and then there's like a diary caption next to it of Gertrude kind of reminiscing on that, on whatever picture it is that's there.
Yeah.
But then at the end of it, Gertrude breaks the fourth wall and talks about the new artist coming up for the next run of I Hate Fairyland, and we get a couple of really nice, really gorgeous double page spreads from Derek Loffman. Just as a tease, she's like, here's what you can expect in the next several issues, and he turned it's a double page spread, and it's craziness. Like it's so you can pick out little things and wonder what the story's going to be. You turn the page, it's another double page spread, and just giving you clues as to what this overall story is going to be. But I Hate Fairyland is so much fun, and there's a lot of fans out there. And if you're one of those, definitely don't miss this. If for nothing else, then those preview pages.
Again, also one of the red label
That's right.
free comic book day book,
Definitely.
because I Hate Fairyland is very violent.
Yeah, it is.
Next up, I've got the Star Wars book for Free Comic Book Day. This is the main Marvel Star Wars book. This is broken up into 3 parts that kind of represent the 3 current ongoing Star Wars books. So first off, we have Past as Prologue by Alex Aguirre and Phil Noto. This is our primer for the new upcoming Star Wars #1 we'll be getting in a month or so. And this one's really fun. It just follows Luke as he tracks down some Pike Syndicate who have stolen from the New Republic. And yeah, not a whole lot. It's mostly just giving you an idea of this is what the book's going to look like. This is set after Return of the Jedi, but Luke is still in his like Jedi Knight robes. It's really fun. And it does feature a recent new character that seems like it's going to be a main character
Okay.
in
I
this.
didn't know who
So
that was.
that's really cool. Then we have a second story called Legacy of Vinay by Charles Soule and Stefano Raphael. And this is kind of, you could read this at any point if you're reading the Legacy of Vader title. And in that, Vinay is like as the caretaker of Vader's castle, but at one point was kind of Vader's butler, basically, type character, and we find out how he went from that to the kind of abomination half droid thing he is now, and his dedication to Vader, and basically him seeing Kylo Ren is like the second coming of Darth Vader. It's a really cool story. And then third, we have The Moon of Death by Mark Guggenheim, and this is kind of goes along with the Star Wars Jedi Knight series that's going on right now, as we see Qui-Gon Jinn and Tensu Run, who was a character that was introduced in the Inquisitors series. They're on a mission. They get held up by some thugs, and it kind of insinuates that Tensu Run invented Jedi mind trick, because Qui-Gon's like, I've never seen that before. And he's like, it's because I just made it up.
Weird.
And it's like, I think they did that in the High Republic. So, and that would have been hundreds of years before this. So I'm not sure about that, but it's a really cool one. Plus, there is some bios at the end of this of all the new characters that you may not be familiar with, like Tensu Run, like Vinay, and the character that shows up in the Star Wars #1 kind of story at the beginning. So really great if you're a Star Wars fan. Can't miss it because it's just no like big first appearances or anything like that, but it's a good companion to the ongoing Star Wars books currently coming out from Marvel.
Well, next I've got Planet Death #0, and this is from Bad Idea. And this is interesting too because this is like newsprint. Like the whole thing is like very light, very newsprinty, not like the other ones. But this is a prelude to Planet Death #1 that's coming out in July. We actually talked about it on Comics from the Future not too long ago. And in this is, this shows you like the first few pages of that, where this whole battalion of these big, like, ultra jacked space marine looking guys, they descend onto this planet to destroy an enemy weapon, and they all get wiped out almost instantly except for one lone survivor. That's not a spoiler, that was in the solicitation for the first issue. It's just that we see it here. And then, from there, we don't see it in here, but from there, the one survivor is going to try to go behind enemy lines and carry out the mission that his entire battalion was unable to do. The artwork in this is really, really good. There's some really good action, lots of big armor, big guns, big aliens, that kind of stuff. So if you're looking forward to that new book from Bad Idea, this is a preview.
Next up, I have another book from Mad Cave, and with another property that they are about to launch. This is the Phantom number 0, and I thought this one was awesome as
Mm-hmm.
well. I love the Phantom as a character, and we don't get enough of him anymore. So this one's by Ray Fox, and the art is by Russell Olson. And in this, the Phantom is in the jungle, and he's tracking some poachers who have killed a Bengal tiger. And of course, Phantom is the protector of the jungle. Only to discover that he's not the only one tracking this. There's another Bengal tiger that is tracking these poachers. And Phantom's basically like, I'm going to watch what happens here.
Mm.
And he goes and follows them. And basically, like, voice of God over these people kind of warn them like about what they messed with and that there's another tiger out there. And yeah, the Phantom basically takes a step back and lets the tiger
Yep.
at them, and it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it sounds like the Phantom's not very like proactive, but the way he like kind of is symbiotic with the jungle and everything is really cool. And it answers the question: does the Phantom really turn even Tiger's blood cold in his
Ooh.
presence? Yeah, just great. I'm now very excited about a new Phantom series from Mad Cave, so don't miss out on this one if you're a fan of some classic heroing.
Next, we have a book called. This is just the Red Five Comic Adventures. This is from the comic publisher Red Five, and this is a preview of 3 of their upcoming books. The first one is called Snow Monkey. It's about this teenage girl named Jennifer, and she that's her on the cover, and she wears this ancient helmet of Wukong that gives her the experiences and abilities of every warrior who has ever worn it,
Mm.
and she uses it to fight against her father, who is evil, but it's weird because he doesn't know. She knows that her dad is bad, but he doesn't know who she is. And it shows them at breakfast, and it's like, I wonder if that's weird for her, knowing what her dad is into. So this has some good like martial arts action. She takes on this group of thugs. The artwork is really cool in it. There's another story called Something Beyond the Petrichor, and it's about a girl named Jocelyn and her stuffed turtle Quigley, who she talks to and who talks back to her. I don't know if that's in her just her in her mind or not, but they live in this giant tent, seemingly in the middle of nowhere, because the world around them has been dissolved due to massive amounts of acid rain. So it's kind of like this dystopian. Like probably they're probably going to go out on an adventure, but we don't see that in this. And then there's another story called Enigma Town, where this physically disabled boy is turned into a doll. That kind of like a reverse Pinocchio, really. And he's loved at first, but eventually forgotten and abandoned. And what happens to a toy that contains a living soul? So that story is a little bit darker.
It's like the true story of Toy Story
Yeah,
or
that's
something.
right. But it's not. This is a blue label book, so that story it's a little bit darker, but it's not like gory and violent or anything like that. But yeah, so 3 really cool stories. I really liked this Snow Monkey story, and I wanted because she's a high school girl and she sees like a school she's in. She sees like this gang in there messing with some guys, and she's told not to interfere because if she does, they'll hurt her. But she does it anyway, and it's just really cool. So I'd like to read this more when it comes out.
Yeah, and I flipped through that one. The art in that's really good
Yeah,
too.
yeah, it is.
Next up, we have a new one and a new property that we're getting, at least, a familiar property, getting a comic from Titan. This is Diablo Dawn of Hatred. So, classic Blizzard game Diablo is getting a comic. This is by Cullen Bunn and Danielle Sarah. And this is in black and white. I'm not sure if when it comes out officially, if it's going to be in color or not.
Yeah.
Seems like it kind of should be. Like, it should look like this cover, but I'm not sure because this is all black and white. And this, is set in Sanctuary, which of course is like the classic starting place in Diablo. And it's seen better days, but Akarat has returned from the dead, bringing hope, and he's kind of this like Messiah-like character that some follow and some call him like a false prophet and a heretic and all of that. But some warriors from outside of the city hear about him, hear about his healing abilities, all of that, and go seeking him, but there does seem to be some evil something waiting in the shadows. If you're a fan of Diablo, the game, or for me, I love Diablo and I love Cullen Bunn's writing, so
Yeah.
this is awesome. The art is really interesting. It's very like thin lines, but with like watercolor, like
Mhm.
black and white ink wash. Very unique. So this is also one of the red mature books. But yeah, Diablo coming from Titan Comics.
Well, next we have a green label book. So this is all ages, so the young ones can read this. This is Iron Man and his awesome friends, and this features Iron Man and Ironheart and Iron Hulk, who is actually Amadeus Cho in Iron Man Hulk armor, which is really
Yeah.
cool. And they, with the help of a dog that they found, stop Ultron from stealing an arc reactor battery. And this also features two other stories, one with Spider-Man and Spin, who is Miles Morales. That's his name in these young stories, and Ghost Spider. And there's another one. Oh, they're with Kamala Khan, and then there's another story with Spider-Man, Spin, and Ghost Spider, and also Ant-Man and Wasp, and they get up to shenanigans. So if you need something for the little ones, if they're into superheroes and stuff, this is a great one for them.
Well, next up, I have one I know a lot of people are going to be wanting. This is Mark Spears' Monsters number 0. Very popular book right now, written and illustrated by Mark Spears. This one sees a creepy clown named Mr. Funny Bones attempt to kidnap a young girl, very like Stephen King's It, and take her to Clown Town, which seems to be like in another dimension or something. But they are stopped by a masked monster hunter that, if you've been reading the book, you might know who those characters are. um you know Mark Spears has a big following right now. Some people love his art, some people don't. It's very uh uh, like 3D model, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing, kind of PlayStation 2 graphics. But very interesting story, and I know this one is going to sell out fast.
Well, this book here is called Champion, and this is a preview of an upcoming graphic novel that's written by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Raymond Obstfeld. The art is by Ed LaRoche, and it's about this high school basketball star named Monk, and he gets in trouble for tagging the rival school's logo, kind of doing some spray painting over their logo. So his coach tells him that there's more to life than basketball and suspends him from the team until he writes an essay about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's life as an activist, but he's not allowed to mention anything about his basketball career
Huh.
because Monk, he's like, sweet, I can do this easy. I know all of his stats, all of his entire history as a basketball player. And his coach says, no, leave all that stuff out. I want you to write an essay about all the other things that he did for his community and things like that. And through this, Monk learns about all of the good work that Kareem did off the basketball court. And like I said, it's continued in Champion, the graphic novel that comes out on September 2nd.
Next up, I've got Conan. This is Conan Scourge of the Serpent. This is setting up a kind of the next big Conan event, Scourge of the Serpent, later this year. This is by Jim Zub and Ivan Gill. And in this, a young 17-year-old Conan, who of course already looks like a big, burly, mature barbarian, breaks into a very pompous noble's house to steal all his treasures and teach him a lesson, only to learn that there's really no treasures in there. There's stuff, but nothing worth anything. Only to learn that that nobleman, when he arrives, has squandered everything. But this noble person knows, hey, I've got a friend who's got some really ritzy stuff, uh, and something very in particular that's worth so much that we could split it and have all the money we would want. And so that's kind of setting up this next big event. But it was really fun. I love the current Conan stuff. And yeah, if you're planning on reading that big event coming later, you'll want to pick up this.
Next up, I have a book from EC. This is called Blood Type. Now, the first story in this, I think it may have been included in Epitaphs from the Abyss. I'm not 100% sure. It's about this vampire woman who winds up stranded on a lifeboat with five other people. And, what does she do? So they don't have any food, but she does because
Mm-hmm.
she's got five people on that life raft. I don't know if I think maybe that story was already in Epitaphs from the Abyss. I'm not 100% sure, but the reason it's included here is because that story will continue into EC's first solo series
Mm-hmm.
called Blood Type. It's going to follow that woman, that character. And this also contains another story called The Champion that was previously in one of the issues of Cruel
I
Universe.
like that one.
Yeah, we talked about that on one of our preview videos, and then a story called Death and Pickaxes, which was from a previous issue of Cruel Kingdom, and we talked about that in a previous video as well. So again, this might just be 3 reprints, or if that first story is new, the other 2 are definitely reprints. But the big thing about this is that first story is going to continue, whereas normally EC just has like anthology books. They're going to have a first like ongoing series.
Next up, I've got Mega Man number 0. This is setting up the new series of one-shots they're going to be doing that follow kind of each iteration of Mega Man. But this one is by Travis Maiden and art is by Andrew Dickman, Kenny Ruiz, Edwin Huang, and Jeffrey Cruz. And this is really funny. So the Robot Masters, after they were corrupted and then defeated by Mega Man, actually became Mega Man's friend, and they're all working at different food trucks. And so while they're working at food trucks, the Robot Masters remember their biggest fights with Mega Man. So we have Wind Man, Cold Man, Skull Man, and we see each of those little stories of them fighting, and they're all a lot of fun. The art is really good in this, and it kind of all comes back together at the end. So yeah, if you're a big Mega Man fan, the upcoming thing is called um, Mega Man Timelines. It's going to be covering Mega Man X, Mega Man Zero, Mega Man ZX, and Mega Man Legends. So yeah, very fun. I would recommend this one.
Next, I've got another green label book. This is Dr. Seuss graphic novels. This has 2 stories in it. The first one is Green Eggs and Ham and the Lost Kitten, and Sam I Am and Walter look for a lost kitten. And the other one is called Thing 1 and Thing 2 Have Homework to Do, and it's a preview of the upcoming graphic novel featuring the Cat in the Hat and a lot of things, not just Thing 1 and Thing 2, but a whole bunch of them. So another great one for the young ones.
I wanted you to do that entire thing in rhyme.
I should
You
have.
let me
I'm not
down.
that creative.
Next up, I have Gargoyles Demona, and this is setting up the new Demona series that we're going to be getting. This is from Greg Wiseman and Frank Paul. And in this, Demona breaks into a museum to steal Odin's shield, but the gargoyles, of course, confront her to stop her. Yeah, this is just setting up the Demona number 1 that's going to be coming out. There's also a backup story that kind of spins out of that of like, hey, and then the gargoyles went and did this, but it sets up a crossover that I didn't know about, you had heard about, but I don't think is like officially
Right,
announced,
right.
and is something I never thought I would see. So definitely check out this one to see that crazy crossover we're going to be getting. That's with a whole nother company's characters. That seems really fun. So Gargoyles Demona.
And next, I've got which one is this? Hold on. Oh, so this is a Critical Role and Black Hammer. So this has a Critical Role story in it called The Mighty Nine Origins, and it's about 2 characters, Bo and Caleb. They attend this dinner theater to meet a contact who tells them the location of this excavation site that they're looking for. And then there's a Black Hammer story in this called To Tomorrow from Jeff Lemire and Letizia Dekanichi, and this old hero known as Colonel Weird kind of travels through the various eras of the Black Hammer universe. I'm not sure if that's leading into a new story or anything like that, but I do believe it is a new story, at least for this. So if you like either one of those properties, you're going to like this one.
I liked his Colonel Weird had a mini series
Okay,
that
yeah.
was really fun. Okay, next up, this one is really interesting, and I gotta make a note about this. So this is the Gundam Wing comic celebrating the 30th anniversary of Gundam Wing, and in this book wasn't one that we ordered. There's 2 books that kind of showed up. There were, or I don't know if they were replacements or something, but they weren't on the original docket of books. And yeah, so these may be harder to get. I'm not sure how widely these were distributed, or because we didn't put in specific numbers for them. I don't know. They may have played off of numbers of another book we got. But I'm a huge Gundam Wing fan, and this is really cool to see. So this basically shows us the first bit of Gundam Wing. This is like literally like episode 1, the first few minutes of it. We see Lieutenant Zex faces off against Wing Gundam for the first time. It's the first time he's seen a Gundam,
Yeah.
and Wing Gundam like transforms from its plane mode into its Gundam form. Plus, we see like little page vignettes of all the other Gundam Wing Gundams, and yeah, it's just fun to revisit this. And
Oh
like,
man.
I was like, oh yeah, this is putting on a familiar pair of
Yeah, it
pants.
took me back to the late '90s when I was in college and watching this. Holy cow!
Yeah, Miss Marlena and all
Yeah.
this stuff. Like I could hear the voices. I will say the lettering in this was not great. There
Okay.
was some lettering that literally went outside of
Oh
the
wow. Okay.
the speech bubbles. But yeah, if you're a Gundam fan, I don't know if this is leading to anything. It seems like more of an ad for like the Gunpla
Yeah.
and everything.
It's a 30th anniversary.
Yeah, so I don't know if this can be continued. Go watch the show if you want to see the rest
Yeah.
of it, but I'm just really happy they did this.
What's the other book? Are you going to talk about the other book
I'll
that
be
was
getting to
okay?
it,
You'll
yeah.
get to it. All right. Next up, I've got Marvel Voices Ironheart. So this has a new original Ironheart story called Hot Cha, from Justina Ireland and Julian Shaw. And in this one, Ironheart fights this villain named Wormhole and is teleported back to the late 1800s, and she's got to figure out how to get back. Plus, this also contains reprints of stories from Marvel Voices Legends #1, X-Men The Wedding Special #1, and the Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes Special #1, and Kahori Reshaper of Worlds #1. So a new Ironheart story and then some reprints from some other books.
Next up, here's one setting up a new crossover miniseries. This is Thundercats Powerpuff Girls #0. Another crossover I never thought I would see.
Yeah.
I didn't even, those two not even on the same wavelength. This is by Paulina Ganichow and Coleman Ingle. And in this, it really gets into it fast as Mojo Jojo throws the Powerpuff Girls through a portal that leads to New Earth. And where they get there, they run into Snarf. Of course, Bubbles loves Snarf. It's just a little cat. Um, but they do learn that there they don't have their superpowers. So to make up for that, Snarf gives them some magical weapons. Buttercup has a whip. Blossom has a sword, and Bubbles has a slingshot. It's all really cool. And in this, they kind of have to learn to master those weapons because they're magical, and they kind of have to um, become one with the weapons. But it's funny, like how Buttercup learns to use the whip. Blossom's like, remember when you chased us around with that towel, like snapping at us? Just do that. And she's like, oh, I got how to use a whip now. So that's really fun. Soon they run into Bengal, only to learn that the Thundercats are missing. And I think that's where it sets up our story. But yeah, I thought this was really cool, and the characters all felt like really accurate to the show. So that is another really cool one. This one from Dynamite.
Well, next I've got some manga here. This is a twofer. This is there's two stories in this. The first one is called Tower Dungeon. It's a preview of Volume 1 that's coming out in July. It's about a farm boy named Yuva. He accompanies this group of soldiers up this big giant tower in an effort to save a princess from an evil sorcerer, but each floor is filled with untold horrors. And then there's another story called Isaac, and this is a preview of the Isaac Omnibus. It's coming out in June. It's about a Japanese warrior named Isaac, and he saves this young girl from being attacked by these two goons. And the overall story is set in Europe in 1620, and he is on this mission to kill the man who murdered his master. So, two really cool manga stories in this one.
Next up, I have Archie Comic Spectacular. This is made up of a couple of different stories of Archie. I'm not sure if any of them are reprints or if they're all new or what, but we've got it's the whole gang. We've got just a regular Archie story. We have one that is involving the like superheroes, like Archie is a superhero and stuff. That does feature the superhero Pool Noodle, which is like the Deadpool of this, and
Okay.
he tries to get like the cinematic universe going for their characters. And there's a whole story that is made up of memes, the Archie characters, but in very recognizable memes like Blossom is Wolverine holding the picture.
Nice.
There's the Fry from Futurama, like take all my money. Just really fun. Like all Archie stuff. Just a lot of cool stuff. A Sabrina story. So if you're an Archie fan, don't miss that one.
We'll have some more manga. There's two stories in this one. The first one is Kagurabachi. This is about a master swordsman named Chihiro. He uses his father's sword to find the sorcerers who killed his father, who was this legendary sword maker who made 6 swords, but they all went missing, and he's using the seventh sword to defeat all these guys. And there's also a preview of a new Boruto series called Boruto, or I guess it's Boruto, right? Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. That's a new manga that's coming out soon, in print form anyway, and you get a preview in this.
Next up, we've got Tamagotchi Paradise. This is the other book that was a surprise
Okay.
book. I'm not sure if because both of these are very heavily centered on like toys.
Hmm.
Both of them have ads for the toy lines and everything. So it could be related to that because this one more than the Gundam one. So it starts off. It has explains the lore of Tamagotchi, the planet they come from, and the birth of a new planet. You see it's almost like a user's manual mixed with a story because it's like this one grows up into this one and here's all the different versions you can get. And then the second half of this almost just feels like I'm looking at a Tamagotchi catalog because it's like all the different versions they do, all of that. This one maybe the story is like a couple of pages and all the rest of it are like actual like pictures of the toys and everything. So it's really fun. It's definitely all ages. There's like one like giant caption per page. Very simple to read, but really cute, and I like Tamagotchi. So yeah, that's the other one. Maybe a little harder to find um, because we're not sure how many were sent out.
I got a little bit more manga. This is Minecraft, the manga, and this is about a 10-year-old boy named Nico. He wants to be an adventurer like his dad. He's very mischievous. He's always kind of sneaking out of his room, and he's also very good at mining. We see him mine coal very quickly and efficiently. So, what adventures is he going to get up to? I guess we'll see in the ongoing series. And this also contains a preview of the manga for Beyblade X. My son is big into Beyblade. It's not really my thing, but I will say the artwork in that is really, really cool. Like I wanted to see more of that. So, some more, this is a green label book, so good for younger readers. And yeah, if you're interested in those properties, like my son would probably eat this up. So yeah, that's another good one to have.
I played Beyblade, and
Yeah,
then my friend, it was like a show. He did it, and
yeah,
it came together, and his literally shattered my Beyblade.
yeah,
It's like I wanted that slow motion.
yeah.
Then
Right.
I was sad, and I no longer had a Beyblade. Next up, I've got Best of 2000 AD. So this contains 4 stories. I believe they're all reprints because it's the best of, and this is kind of setting up the. You can buy these like collect editions that are the best of different series. 4 stories. We got a Judge Dredd story, but it's one of the ones that has art by Jock, like Jock of Witches
Yeah.
and crazy DC stuff fame. There's a Rogue Trooper story, Scarlet Trace's story, and Anderson's Side Division story. So if you're a 2000 AD fan, maybe you haven't read some of these stories before, and that'd be a good one to get.
Next, we've got Black Mirror San Junipero, and this is a preview of the upcoming Black Mirror comic. But I don't really know what the story of this is yet because it's just a preview and it ends before it really gets going.
It ends before the art's finished.
That's right. So in this issue, it's about this introverted girl named Yorkie. She meets a party girl named Kelly. So they're polar opposites, right? But Kelly is really into Yorkie, but Yorkie is kind of shy. And I'm not really sure how this relates to Black Mirror because it didn't really seem like there was anything mysterious in it, other than the fact that the characters keep mentioning how much time is left. They're like, "Hurry, we've got 2 hours left," but 2 hours till what? I'm not sure. Um, and the book, yeah, like you said, the book is unfinished. At the beginning of the book, it says, some of these pages show rough pencils so that we could show you the process of making it. I kind of wonder if maybe they just didn't run out of time.
Yeah,
So, there's the
maybe
first,
that's they're running out of time to finish the
maybe,
story.
the first few pages are penciled and inked or in color. Then it goes to black and white. And then there's some pages where the pencils aren't even done, but you still have the word balloons and everything. And then, like I said, I don't know what the overall story is going to be, but I mean, I was pretty
Could that be
interested.
the story? Could it be that like the time is running out, like
I don't
the
think
artist is
so.
running out of time?
Nah, I don't think because the word balloons were still very prevalent. So
Okay.
I don't know.
It's really interesting
Yeah.
though. And it was interesting to see like the thumbnail, like kind of
Right.
art for all
Yeah.
of that. Next up, I've got Bad Kitty Gets a Job. This is, of course, the famous, been going on for many, many years. Nick Bruhl, all ages Bad Kitty stories. And actually, this was pretty fun because in this, some of the Bad Kitty supporting characters, Strange Kitty and Mouse, go to Free Comic Book Day, and they come back with a bunch of comics, and they're going through all the ones they got. And just the jokes they make are actually really funny. Where like one of them's like, "Oh, I got Smurfs versus Snorks, the final battle."
I would
And I
read
was
that.
like, "That's sick! Like I
Yeah.
want to read that. I love the Snorks." Um, until they find this book in their stack, and they're like, "We know Bad Kitty." And then that you read that and they're like, oh, this is the first chapter of Bad Kitty Gets a Job, a new graphic novel coming out in May of 2026. So you could have probably released this next year on Free Comic Book Day and still be in time
Yeah.
for that book. But I actually, the jokes in this were really good. There's some like fourth wall breaking and stuff, and you know, your kids probably have read these before. You can see on the back like all the different volumes there are. But I thought this one was fun, and I love that it's set on Free Comic Book
Yeah.
Day. It's kind of a meta joke.
Next, I've got Will Eisner, a comics biography, and this is a preview of the upcoming Will Eisner comic book biography. And this shows, in this small preview, we see his struggles trying to find work because of a lack of job openings for cartoonists, or because of lack of interest in the type of cartooning he did, or because people being unwilling to hire him because he was Jewish and things like that. But near the end of this preview, it does look like things are starting to turn around for him. He got an idea to do something and got a partner to go in on something with him. So just a bit of a preview into the upcoming graphic novel. But Will Eisner is a legend
Mm-hmm.
to comics, did so much for comics, and you get to see a lot of it in here.
Next up, I have another one of DC's all ages books. This is Kanga-U, and this is a sneak peek of the upcoming all ages graphic novel by Shirley Fish and art by Yingqing Labbit. And it's all about Wonder Woman's kangaroo Kanga, and kind of funnily parallels Wonder Woman's story and Kanga, who also has to go through these trials and everything. So, like I said, this is kind of like a first chapter of the upcoming graphic novel that I'm sure this is going to be collected in there. But if you have you or a young one who likes Wonder Woman and that kind of stuff, wants a DC book, this is a great option.
And I've got Street Fighter versus rival schools. So we've got two Capcom games going up against each other. And in this one, some of the fighters from rival schools tangle with Blanca and a couple of other characters from Street Fighter. And it's just a big brawl, just what you would expect. There's also a backup story in this featuring Chun Li that I like even better than the main story. So if you're a fan of either of these properties, you're gonna like this.
Well, and the last book for me is Hulk Teach. This is also a kind of first chapter of an upcoming all ages graphic novel by Jeffrey Brown, who is, super famous for doing all this stuff, all his Star Wars books and all of that. And this was really fun too. Through a crazy turn of events, Hulk has to end up teaching middle school. There's tons of Marvel heroes in this. It's like almost like he's doing community service,
Yeah.
but because he's so smart, he can do that. But he has to go to court, but She-Hulk is there representing him
Okay.
and everything. I did think this is, this is all like in like black and white, except for Hulk, who's in green.
Hmm.
And it's pretty dense. Like this actually took me a while to read. It's also narrated by two of the Watchers,
Okay.
Uatu and another
Nice.
one. So yeah, it's not light on like Marvel lore. It's just a fun all ages book, and yeah, really sets up all the way until he starts teaching middle school. So yeah, all ages books from Graphics, Scholastic, and Marvel.
I've got a few more. This next one, it's called Creaky Acres, and I am not the target audience for this, but I really like this one a lot. This is about a young girl named Nora who is really sad because she and her family are moving to a new town. She loves horses, and she has a horse of her own named Hay Fever, and she keeps it in this very nice stable. I don't know what really you call it. It's, like you pay to keep him there.
Yeah.
And it's really nice, and she has a bunch of friends there. But the place they're moving to has a much more run-down stable named Creaky Acres. The house that they're moving into looks kind of like this haunted house. And like the book ends right when they move to this new rundown place, and I wanted to see like, wait a minute, what's her life going to be like there? I was like, clamoring for more. So another Green Label book, but I really enjoyed this one quite a bit. We also have Superman's Good Guy Gang. This is another. This is a no. This is a Blue Label book. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a preview of the graphic novel that is going to be launching DC's new early reader line. It's designed for readers ages 5 to 7, but I'm not sure why it's not a Green Label book.
Yeah.
In this one, Superman and Guy Gardner, they team up, and you can see, like, you can get an idea about the tone of this book. Superman and Guy Gardner team up against Hawkgirl, but of course, it's all a big misunderstanding. And there's also a preview of another one of those graphic novels coming up called Aquamanity,
I saw that.
which is
Yeah.
really fun. So this is another really fun book. We've got this Keenspot Toybox, which has previews of a bunch of different Keenspot all ages books. Happy Astronaut, Toy, Squish and Squash, Robot Girl, which we actually got some preview copies of. I like that one. Sister Powers, Kung Fu Legume, the Glopple, Grubs, Zor, and Kid Slapshot. So a whole bunch of different stories in this one. We've got Transformers, the worst bot ever. This is really fun because it's about this Decepticon. This little guy right here, his name is Ballpoint, and he recaps the Autobot Decepticon battle on Cybertron and then the Transformers' journey to Earth. But he greatly exaggerates his role in it. Like, he's like, I got the final blow, and Megatron told me I was his favorite, and that kind of thing. And this also contains a preview of another book called Family Force 5, which is an upcoming graphic novel that's kind of like a Power Rangers type book, which is pretty cool. And then the last one I have is this Boom 20th anniversary special. There's nothing new in this one. It just contains reprints of Berserker, Irredeemable, Mouse Guard, and The Many Deaths of Layla Starr, and Hello Darkness. So it's like a little bit of a sampler platter of some of the great books that have come out from Boom over the course of the last 20 years or so.
Wow. And how many books was that? 40.
44, 40,
It's a lot.
46,
Yeah,
46.
it's a lot of books and a lot to be prepared for when you go to Free Comic Book Day, whether it's at your local store or Infinity Flux if you're local to here, or if you shop with us at infinityflux.net. There's going to be options everywhere for some really cool stuff. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff on May 3rd at the store. So if you're local, come by. I'll be doing a signing for the book I worked on, Young Jedi Adventures. Yeah, just this is the biggest day of the year
Yep.
for comic book stores and comic book fans. Great books to pick up. Check with your store about how many you're allowed to get. If there's any way, our store has ways of you get this many, but then if you show up within the first hour, you get this many more. If you like or subscribe to any of our things, you get a couple more. It's fun ways to interact and get more books. Check with your store. I know some are like one book per person. Some are take all you want.
Yeah.
It's kind of up to the store how they do that. So check with your store. So when you make your list, you're not disappointed.
Right.
Or get some at your store. Head over to our store, get some more there. It's all fun.
Yeah.
It's all good for Free Comic Book Day 2025. Can't wait for it. It's coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, it's always something that the beginning of every year, we go ahead and start preparing for it because it comes up real quick. Like you said, it's always a super huge day.
Yeah.
If you're local here, we're going to have our new room open. And you've not seen it like this before. Like, there's some really cool stuff in there. So a super fun day. I can't wait for it.
Can't wait for it. Thank you so much. If this is your first time watching it, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel because that means so much to us. We recently got over 4,000 subscribers and we're still moving forward. Let's make it to 5,000. Yeah. Things will go back to normal next week with our schedules for our regular shows and all of that.
That's right, because tomorrow on Wednesday, we will not have our live Infinity Flux Letters page video like we're scheduled to, because we will be pre-recording our Comics from the Future video that comes out Friday, because Friday we'll be getting ready for Free Comic Book Day on Saturday. So, crazy week this week, but yeah, when it's all over, things should settle down a little bit.
Yeah. But all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Happy Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
And until next time, see ya.